Right. So, as far as the Guidewire Business Analyst is concerned, today we are going to discuss about the exposure roles because when we are working on the claim center, especially claim processing, adjudication, settlements, all that we do, there is an initiation process which normally we call it as FNOL will be initiated. So based on that, scene inspection will be made and claim settlement will be made by the claims team. In regard to understanding over this, it's always important for us to understand about what are the different exposure rules we have. So because there are different exposure rules generally we are having, especially these exposure rules. Right. So exposure rules are majorly the one which majorly we use to handle whatever the potential liabilities or any kind of financial risk associated when we are performing any kind of claims. Because identifying, managing, tracking the potential liabilities that we see when we are processing any kind of claims that we have handled, right? So we need to identify and expose uh, what are the potential financial loss due to the claim that we have received so far. Right. So this is what generally an exposure rule. When we are working on the Guidewire Claim Center, it is always important for us to know about exposure rules. That is the one thing which we must be knowing. Next one about the exposure types. So exposure types majorly of different types we have. One is about the medical exposure types, which majorly relating to the cost of the medical treatment and services. Either it can be a property damage relating to the cost of the repairs, replacements, reimbursements for the property damage. Everything will be part of it. Next one about the legal exposure type, which are majorly relates to the potential legal expenses or as well as the settlements over there. At the same time, there are other exposure rules, whatever the other type of financial exposures we have. Either it can be loss of wages, right? So punitive damages, everything will be part of it. So these are multiple type of exposure types generally we have. Followed by this, there are other severity rules also because these rules majorly dictate the severity of the exposure. Like for example, whatever the claim that we have processed must be large enough to create any significant financial liability.